Tonight I wanted to talk about shame and guilt. Earlier today I was at a women's Bible study and, she shared with us that she had been molested, and that definitely brought back some issues and stuff for me. Luckily, though, I thank God that He has been able to heal me from that. I was sexually molested from the age of 5 to 7, and it was my babysitter, the neighbor. And she probably had to be anywhere from about like 15 to 17. And, I remember not really having a voice, not really being able to tell my mom that I don't want her to babysit me. I would just say, no, can you pick the other person? Can you pick the other sister? And which that sister really wasn't much better, because she would allow her boyfriend over and they would smoke, and they offered me to smoke. Luckily, though, even being that young, I was able to turn that down. It was very confusing, having a woman touch me and making me do stuff I didn't want to do. I remember my little sister being, 3. She's only a couple years younger than I am. And at that age, I still protected her. I would say, no, go lay down, go to bed. I kind of, I guess, sacrificed myself in a way, because I didn't want that happening to her. I later on, after we moved, I got the courage probably around 8, to actually tell my mom. Of course I told her at a wrong time, at least that's what it felt like, because, she was drunk, but, they partied a lot back in the days. And, I told her that this is what happened. And I just remember her saying, okay, well, say a couple Hail Marys and God will forgive you. I was like, even at that young age, I was like, really? God will forgive me? So I lived with that for a long, long time, that I did something wrong. I, could have said something. I could have stopped it, and I need to now pray to God to forgive me. That carried on, for a long, long time, until my adulthood, through my teens. I knew about sex way too young. To know about sex at the age of 5, it's crazy. I look at my daughter, who's 6 now, and I protect her so much, because, I want her to be young and innocent for as long as she needs to be young and innocent. And I don't want anybody taking that away. So as a parent, I urge you to talk to your children to make sure that they're okay, because, sometimes they don't have a voice. They may not be able to express it. And when they are trying to communicate to you, listen. Not listen with your ears, but listen with your eyes and your feeling in your gut, that maybe something, maybe ask a couple more questions, to really know what's going on with your child. I do thank God that He has delivered me from this, that I have been able to forgive that person that did it. I was probably in my 20s, and I actually saw this woman. I worked at David's Bridal as a manager, and her sister was apparently getting married, and they're fitting. And I stood there at the register while I was training someone. And luckily, I didn't have to talk since I was training, but I stood there frozen. Like, what should I do? We have a panic button, and I was like, okay, should I press the panic button to call, the cops? Or I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Should I be mad and angry and yell at this person, or nothing? And I was so shocked. I felt like I was 5 again, standing there, not being able to say anything, do anything. That brought up so much again, but I've asked God to forgive her. I understand that her being, 15, 17, I don't know how old she was, but I know she was a teenager. And I know that being that young, maybe something happened to her. That happens a lot. I've heard that happens a lot, so I pray that she's okay. I've been told, why don't you, try to find that person, or why don't you, call the cops or try to do something now? I think now maybe she's a mom. Maybe she's married. Maybe she has a great career, and I don't want to mess that up, because I've forgiven her. And I pray that she's found God, that she's had the opportunity to ask for forgiveness herself, so that God can forgive her. Not just me, but for God can forgive her. So I hope this helps. Know that you are not alone in any situation, even though it may seem that way. I am here, but God has always been there. And I thank him for that. We just need to call on him, and he's there with open arms. That's the one thing, but we have to call on him. We have to ask for him, and he will answer. You guys have a great night, and God bless.